Hello and welcome everyone. Of course, this is our Unit 1 discussion board. We have our introductions, our self-introductions. I have, of course, had my introduction post with my video, but here I go again. I'm Dr. Charles Russo. I am your instructor for this session. It's great to be here. I love this course. It is our graduate capstone in criminal justice. It is the culmination of everything that you have learned throughout your pursuit of this degree. And we're going to put it all together. All of those concepts, the skills you've learned, as well as the theories that you've read about, you've studied, we're going to have you put them all in application with one another, right? So I am a career intelligence analyst. I've had over 30 years of intelligence analysis experience. A good portion of that has been spent doing intelligence work for federal law enforcement agencies, Naval Criminal Investigative Service, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I've done everything from identity theft to counterterrorism, improvised explosive device analysis. So, I look at the study of criminal justice, that criminology, the theories of why people do what they do. How can we stop crime? And all the way to, global terrorism. How we're chasing terrorists around the world, right? All the way from the 90s, I had worked on cases from environmental terrorist organizations, Animal Liberation Front, the Irish Republican Army, Hezbollah, Egyptian Jihad, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, Al-Shabaab, Boko Haram, you name it. I've pretty much been at least involved in something of those cases throughout a 30-year career. So with that, it's who we are. So we're talking about you've even had forensics, you've had intelligence, you've had criminology, you have global terrorism. Let's put it all together. Right. So, as far as for part number 2, as I look over here at the screen, it's answer the following question of which theory do you believe explains most crime? Wow, I love that. It's broad. It's not subjective, so on and so forth. So I want you to really be thinking about that in the broad sense. What theory? And now behind me, I've got tons of books on theory, criminal justice theory. Lack of deterrence, social learning, right? We have to. So provide a brief summary of the theory and response. And then why did you select that theory? One, it's asking you on a professional level, practitioner level. Here we are again. We're at the culmination of everything you've studied. You've had the criminology course. You studied the different thoughts and everything of the different theories of why crime happens. Why do we let it happen? What makes somebody a criminal? So with that, and then we're asking you at the end here to ask you, why did you select that theory? A lot of times we have a personal drive, if you will, that we're drawn to a very specific theoretical framework, right? That philosophical theory of why this is, because, people are taught, or is it because of poverty? There are, when we look at ethics and ethical underpinnings of even criminal justice, you've deontology, which is the right and wrong. We're not taught right and wrong anymore. Immanuel Kant, great philosopher who developed deontological theory, said, there is no gray area. There's right and there's wrong. Murder is murder, no matter whether it's even in self-defense. It is murder. There's no right and wrong, or there's only right and wrong, right? Stepping on a bug, it's a creature. You killed it. Even if you say, well, I killed the wasp because it was going to sting me and I didn't want to get hurt. So it's almost self-defense, right? But he would look at that as wrong. But then on the other side, you have utilitarianism, the feel-good or the happiness theory. of what is for the majority. If we take into account the trolley or the boat theme of, well, the boat has 13 people, the capacity is 12, and with 13 people, it starts to take on water. So, but when you're in shark-infested waters, who takes the sacrifice for the greater good? You can come up with any scenario of, okay, well, these aren't based necessarily in fact. These are philosophical discussions of, well, okay, everybody takes a turn getting in and out of the boat. It's equal. Okay, but what happens if you have a child or you have a disabled person, or, do we protect women more than we protect men? Who should? We get into these debates, and this is part of what criminal justice and criminal justice reform is all about. And you're at that forefront with this type of a degree. So with that, I want you to be thinking about, yes, this is why I have a passion for, it's deterrence theory is one why we can say that there's crime is running rampant. Well, you're like, how is deterrence theory? See, my perspective would be we don't employ deterrence theory. You could employ broken windows, which Rudy Giuliani in the 1980s, when he was mayor of New York, had said, New York throughout the 60s and the 70s and even into the 80s was crime-ridden. You had subway murders and stabbings, kind of like what it is now, right? Because criminals were not chased after. They weren't prosecuted. Broken windows, as you probably already know, is the analogy is, well, if you see windows broken on a factory wall, kids are most likely to go ahead and break more. Because they say, well, it's already happening. These other windows were already broken, so I'm just breaking another few. So that's what I want you to be thinking about. It could be social learning. I mean, we have a lot of the influence of personal characteristics. Yes, age, gender, ethnicity, religion, political, economic standing and status. You have a lot of that, which is part of the influences. But how much of influence is a full family, mother, father, siblings, support structure? What about the neighborhood you live in? What about the type of jobs you have or others have? Is it the job rate, unemployment rate versus the employed rate, right? So these are the things that you want to be able to discuss. And so we're looking for a lot of in-depth information here, even if it's personal. Explain yourself, that type of thing. I know with the discussions, we're not making it mandatory for you to do research, but hey, research is always good in order to support and add credibility to what you're saying. Okay? With that, I will bid you adieu, and I'll be answering the posts soon. Take care.